read labels and look deeper into things. You'd be surprised. You'll look at a pack of honey roasted almonds and you'll be like, this looks healthy, I'm gonna eat it. You look at the back, like 20 grams of carbs, 40 grams of sugar. It's crazy how like people can just use simplistic labels and sophisticated words to just make stuff look healthy when it's really just poison in a packet.
Hello, namaste, Zarna Garg here with the Zarna Garg Family Podcast. So excited because all 5 Gargs are in the house. Can't wait to get started with today's episode. Please welcome my middle schooler, Veer Garg, my high schooler who's about to go to college, Bridge Garg, my daughter who's in her last year of college, Zoya Garg, and my husband of 25 years, veteran Wall Street guy, Shalabh Garg. Today's episode is a hot topic. It's a hot topic. Everybody's going to get upset with everybody. Everybody's going to have an opinion. We might even get cancelled, but let's just get into it. We are going to talk about sugar. What do we think about sugar? Where are we falling apart on this? Are we able to control it? Is it the new drug? Is it the new cocaine? What is it? What are the problems surrounding it?
Being that I'm a chemical engineer, can I at least tell you where sugar comes from first?
Sure. Okay.
There are 2 sources of sugar.
Okay.
One is a natural source of sugar, which comes from sugar cane. But that is not the sugar in most of our great nation of ours that we get or is available, right? That's the sugar that's available in emerging markets, India, Mexico, and so on and so forth. The sugar that we get here is born out of corn. It's called high fructose corn syrup. Because to get the same little amount of sugar from sugar cane, you may need one sugar cane. And to get that same amount of sugar from high fructose corn syrup, it may take like 10 times as much corn to produce it. And it's not even real sugar because it's high fructose corn syrup. I just wanted to lay it out there because as the episode goes along, I would like to make a public service message.
Oh my God.
Oh, okay.
Not dad's service
Another PR statement.
Okay.
But I'm going to say I gave up dessert about 3 months ago and it's been very consistent and I'm very happy that I gave it up. It's I've had a few times when I craved it, not really. Like after the first 2-3 days, it kind of exited the system entirely and I just started looking at it as something I don't eat. Hopefully this stays. It's a challenge. It's a continuing battle. I can't say I gave up sugar because I know that sugar is in everything.
Yes, the toothpaste has sugar. Because you use the American, American toothpaste. If you use proper European or Swiss toothpaste,
it doesn't have toothpaste. It has chemicals. There's a difference.
It has sugar as well.
No, it does have sugar. The mint toothpaste has sugar.
Correct. But if you use a European one, it does not have sugar.
It has fake sugar.
And if you use the Indian style version of it, which is that tree thing, that herbal
tree sap, which is what cavemen used.
No one is brushing their teeth with a tree bark.
That's what Baba Ramdev would have you believe. And he has it right.
Oh my God, please just use Colgate. But
okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Anyway.
But Colgate and all these American toothpaste companies, which are then owned by even bigger companies, they're all corrupt. And what they're selling you is not something to clean your teeth with, but to make you addicted to.
Okay.
But that's not my public service message. It's going to come.
Like nobody's addicted to
You're
brushing
building
their teeth,
suspense.
Yeah, we're building suspense.
Who is addicted to brushing their
No,
teeth?
it makes sense. You're addicted to the toothpaste, so you keep buying from that same company.
The same company.
Like if you hated the toothpaste you were using, you wouldn't buy that same toothpaste again.
And it's a lot easier to be addicted to something that's sweet.
Yeah,
And then they
and
flavor
goes into
it
your
and
mouth
add-
twice or thrice a day.
Right. So, but are you guys, what are the sugar issues that you guys deal with in college and school? Because I know that in my life of being home all the time, because I also work from home, it is everywhere. It doesn't matter where you turn, there is sugar everywhere. You think you're eating yogurt, it has sugar. You think you're eating a snack, that has sugar. You think you're eating a plain bagel, definitely loaded with sugar.
Fruit, and I'm not talking about the natural sugar that the fruit has. I'm talking about sugar that is coated with to make it sweeter and look more beautiful.
Insane.
Do you think that happens?
It happens all the time. I mean, we just live in a very corrupt country.
No, not fresh fruit. Come on.
Depends on like, what do you mean by fresh fruit?
Like a bowl of berries.
All I'm going to say is when I was in London and I had the fruit there, I hated the fruit in London because the fruit tasted so bland and it looked gross and it did not taste as sugary. Whereas in the US, every time I eat any blueberries, I have to eat the whole carton because it's so sweet and so delicious.
But are you worried that it's fake?
I don't know. I don't know enough about the topic, but I definitely do. There is a huge problem with sugar in America. One thing my mom does, which I actually completely agree with, is I never gift sugar.
No. Yeah.
Gifting sugar should no longer be something.
How do you give sugar? I don't.
People used to, or you don't.
A box of chocolates.
A box of chocolates, or mitai, or cookies, or
Yeah.
cake. I think it's insulting now when you give somebody sugar, because what you're doing is you're basically putting poison in front of their face. I mean, obviously the thought is what matters, and most people don't believe this to be true. And this isn't a normalized thing, but I think we should normalize, do not give people sugar. Or if you're going to give somebody a dessert, one thing that I have a rule about in my life is I will not eat a dessert unless I have made it myself. Because the two things that changes is, one, there's a lot of friction to making a dessert yourself. So it's not a daily occasion, right? You can't just make desserts every single day unless you have all the time in the world. The second thing is, if you make the dessert yourself, you see exactly what you're putting in that dessert. So it's very, very hard for you to eat that slice of cake when you see how much butter has gone into it, how many spoons of sugar have gone into it. So what ends up happening with me is I make all these fruit cobblers, fruit granola things that taste like dessert but really aren't. And I think that's been my solution personally.
I get it. I agree with that.
But I don't want to sort of sound alarmist, because I'm not alarmist, but the sugar industry in the United States is one of the most lucrative and profitable industries, because we are the biggest producers of corn in the world.
Yeah.
And the sugar is derived from corn, not because we don't have the technology to produce it out of sugarcane, but we have so much excess corn that's the easiest, most cost-effective way to produce.
But Shalabh, sugar is not just a problem in America. It's a problem in India too. And to Zoya's point, every celebration is centered around sugar.
Yeah.
I mean, everything. It's like, will you have a box of mitai? Will you have a laddu? I mean, I know all our doctors are Indian. So many of our doctors are Indian, and they are begging us constantly, please do not feed your kids these laddus. Please do not feed these kids.
That's true.
The samosas also.
But at
spike
least
the
it is real
blood
sugar.
glucose.
So, for example, if you take a bottle or a can of a sugary drink in India, and the same company's sugary drink in America, you will see that the one in America has high fructose corn syrup because they have to disclose it behind it. And the one you take in India or in Mexico or in any other country, same company, it will say real sugar, actual sugar.
It's true.
Yeah.
Which is
It's
ridiculous.
true, because we do pay more for that Mexican Coke, the one with
Yeah.
cake.
In New York,
do,
if you buy that bottle of Mexican Coke in New York,
And it does taste better. It does taste better.
Why does one have to buy imported Coke off of a company that's an American company?
Yeah.
I mean,
It's so ridiculous. Now, one should not be buying Coke or any other sugary drink anyway, but isn't it so ridiculous
Yeah.
that goes on?
no, but it is everywhere. So what are our big tricks for living with it around us?
I said one, which is I only eat dessert I've made myself.
Yes. What are your tricks?
My app.
Your app?
My app that I will not disclose the
God.
name of. It literally gives you all the stats, but everybody hates it
Just
because
tell what the app is.
Yuka. Okay, look, it's an app. I've already talked about this before. It's an app. You just scan the barcode of anything, and it'll tell you what preservatives it has, the exact nutritional facts, and it tells you, it gives you a score out of 100. Anything below 50 is considered poor. Anything below 25 is considered terrible. Anything above 50 is considered good.
Do you ever find anything above 50?
Yes.
Like what? To eat?
To eat?
Yeah.
Anything like, for example, this yogurt that I have, that's like a 93.
What's the name
Water
of
is
the
always in
yogurt?
100. Seltzer is always in 100, obviously, because there's nothing in that.
What yogurt is it that's a 93? Just so people know.
It's zero fat yogurt, just Greek yogurt, pretty much.
Oh, 0 fat or 2%?
Zero fat.
Okay.
Oh, one other trick is do not put sugar in your coffee. Oh my goodness.
Oh, yeah.
This is something that I didn't start drinking coffee until I went to college, actually. I didn't drink coffee at all. And I wish I didn't drink coffee personally. It's a very expensive habit of mine, but for reasons in our drink episode that you can watch, I believe drinking coffee is actually a good thing in my life. But I do not and have never added sugar to my coffee, to my matcha, to my teas. There is this new culture now where it's like, yeah, I'm drinking a cup of matcha, like it's no big deal. And there is so much sugar in those syrups that they pour into those drinks. And there's actually more probably than in a common dessert because there's no endless, it's a liquid. It can just dissolve and dissolve and dissolve. So you can just add sugar without even realizing how many spoons it is. And one thing mom says a lot is the bitter taste of coffee is one of the few American flavor profiles that is actually bitter. And so if you enjoy that, if you learn to enjoy that bitter taste, it's a really great way to neutralize all the things that automatically already have sugar because we live in this American diet. So I would say just get used to drinking coffee and drinks without sugar. It really helps.
Yeah, I mean, I think liquefied forms of sugar
Yeah, I was literally about
are
to say,
just breathtaking.
being able to
But
drink so
I
much
don't
sugar is
know
crazy.
people who drink. Like, do you know anybody who drinks juice and like all those things today?
Like Coke or Sprite?
Yeah.
Of course.
You do?
People drink a lot of Coke or Sprite milkshake.
Yeah, I mean, those
Really?
companies stock is through the roof. They're as profitable as they ever were.
Especially,
now,
yeah.
more of their sales are now occurring abroad because it's sort of
Because
like
they're
the cigarette
spreading the
companies. They're
poison.
just spreading the poison.
Also, these like places that sell them are a lot smarter than they were a long time ago in the ways that they'll sneak it in there. They'll be like, okay, for example, one of my favorite places, it's like a pizza restaurant, and it's just sells like New York style pizza. But what they'll do is they give us a special, and this this was what everyone was on in my high school for like the whole lunch, and their specials over the city too. Like when I went to middle school, actually that same special existed. Completely separate in the city, right? So it's like they're everywhere now where it's a $5 special. Let's say you pay $5, you get 2 slices of pizza and a soda.
Where
and
are
it's
you
like
getting this deal?
I'll explain to you later. So it's like you get 2 slices of pizza and a soda for $5, but you don't even realize it because you're thinking the price is so good. Like, why would I not take the soda? Why would I not? Like, if you're getting that much for that little amount of money, especially in a city where that would normally cost like maybe even like $12,
Yeah.
like you're gonna take it. You're gonna be like, okay, I'll take a Sprite and 2 cheese slices of pizza, and you're not even gonna think about it. And then
Do you
drink
think
it.
the sugar companies, do you think the cola companies are sponsoring this? They're like,
I have no idea.
we will subsidize.
I mean, I don't
you
know for a
with
fact,
ad
but I'm
and
pretty
a
sure
Special.
anything bad that happens, they have their hands behind it.
Oh my
Well,
God.
also,
And why don't we have their executives drink Coke? Like, I'm pretty sure that the CEOs and the executives of these firms, they themselves don't drink what they're producing.
but that's true of social media companies too. The people that create social media companies famously will never let their kids either have iPhones or have social media. Like, it's wild how addictive.
Yeah,
they
like,
know
that's a whole new episode.
That's a whole new episode, which
Like,
we can
if
get into.
if I utter the word Levi Strauss right now, and I have no phone on me, nothing, I'm pretty sure by the afternoon I will have advertisements of Levi Strauss.
Yeah.
on my
Yeah.
phone. How is that okay? I don't understand.
It's
it.
not
It's
acceptable.
all in the terms and conditions that nobody reads.
It's true. But one thing that
Oh, what do you mean by that?
That's like the 4 pages that
Yeah,
you scroll
nobody reads
before-
it.
But what are you going to read there? Like no one reads
I'm
it.
sure if you read through it, I'm sure they mention at least once that like saying something can have an influence on your ads. I don't think I know a single person that I've ever met that has actually read
But
all
it's
4
written
pages.
with the intention to confuse, to
Yeah.
make it
Exactly,
wrong.
that's what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
of course.
Yeah.
I mean, I really think the government should regulate the internet, right? Why is it that anyway?
We'll get into that in a
That's
second.
a whole
But I
other
just mean
Yeah,
in the
we
sense
can-
that
that's a
in the
whole-
sense of sugar, like executives are definitely probably not eating sugar. One thing I've noticed is, especially in engineering culture, right? When you are a coder, there is sugar everywhere all the time, right? So at Stanford, there's this like basement in one of the engineering buildings where everybody codes. And I, sit there. Most people who are coding sit there. It's where office hours are held. It's like very famous. And one thing that I remember freshman year shocking me was there were always bottles of Coke and bottles of, like all this candy.
Yeah.
And at midnight, if you were still there, one of the TAs would bring a box of donuts. And, the thing is that when your mind is so exhausted and you've been coding for hours, all you want is sugar to keep you going. And I think one of the things that Bridge talks about a lot is how do we find energy forms that don't require sugar? And one thing that I've struggled with is in these circumstances, I just have to go home and sleep, right? Like I haven't been able to find a way to keep my productivity levels going past like 2 a.m. without sugar. I have friends that will stay up all night, but they're drinking Coke. So I think it's an interesting problem because some people actually just are more productive because they use sugar, but then it also
But
harms them in the long term.
There is, I think, evidence that a burst of sugar will give you energy.
Of course.
Short-term energy,
Short
which
term.
then you have to burn down.
But then
I'm
all of us who took standardized tests were told, like, have a candy
you
bar.
took a standardized test? When did you take a standardized test?
Oh my God.
But yeah,
Graduated.
you were supposed to drink like orange juice.
I mean, my mom used to
before.
say that, when it comes to standardized tests, that's not Zarna's thing.
Oh, okay.
She
you're-
graduated like school, right?
her mom, his mom used to say, like, let's not, we could flame her so easily right now. We're just not gonna do that because that's not who we are.
Anyway,
we don't make
what I was
fun.
saying is that forget about these drinks. Let me give you an example of a piece of meat, right? Steak is made out of a cow, right? We all know that.
Yeah.
But what is the cow? And let's talk about regular steak. Like, I'm not even talking about McDonald's, which is not even steak. It's like probably plastic, but forget that. I'm talking about the steak that you would get at a regular restaurant all over America that needs a cow to have been killed and meat to have delivered. But what has the cow been eating? The cow has been eating corn.
Yeah.
Where is the corn coming from? Corn is coming from these fields where the same place where that high fructose corn syrup is made from, all laden with sugar. So the cows then eat all this, and by the time that the steak arrives on your plate, that's actually not even just a clean piece of meat. It's just filled with sugar of all kind and chemicals of all kind.
That
didn't
might
So my
be the
point is,
reason why you every time you eat red meat, you always feel like gassed after.
Me-
You want to be eating grass-fed steak, whatever, non-GMO, all this
right.
crazy stuff.
So the cost of a 6 or 7 ounce piece of steak, the right price, in excess of $80-90. And problem is, nobody can really afford to pay that on every weekly basis.
Yeah.
So when you're eating it for $18 or $16 or $17 for that much piece of steak, you're not really eating just clean meat. You know,
Yeah.
the actually get grass-fed meat. Like if you go to Switzerland, the country is well known for their high-quality dairy products, including grass-fed meat. You will find that a typical same amount of steak costs $100, $110.
Yeah.
And the reason it costs that is because that's how much it takes to feed you a clean form of meat.
That's true of all food, right? If you know that the food doesn't have sugar in it, it's far, far more expensive.
Far, far more
You
expensive.
can't
But
be
it-
healthy without being wealthy.
You cannot. I came up with that
I
weird.
know. You're the one who told us. to
So can you
spend
please say, as said by
the,
my
as
dad?
said by Shalabh Garg.
Okay,
Oh my
Okay.
God. Dad, you can't
This
like,
might be the world's first podcast where we don't actually have advertisements for other people's products. We're like trying to mooch off of
up-
each other.
Yeah.
And like plug each other's quotes. What is
Anyway,
happening?
the point I was trying to make is that you may have given up dessert, but to give up sugar is an impractical solution.
But I agree. That's what I'm saying. I don't say I gave up sugar because I don't actually know how to.
Yeah.
I'm still trying to navigate a world with little less sugar. Like I'm trying to navigate.
Let me give you a health fact.
Yes.
While you have even the tiniest amount of glucose in your body, the body will refuse to go after any other source of energy until it's done with the glucose. So
Right.
the minute your glucose goes up in your body, let's say after having a meal, and as we've just discussed, everything that you eat takes your glucose up. So pretty much your entire waking hours in a normal human being's body,
Yeah.
the body is busy deriving energy from that glucose
Right.
all day.
Wow.
Never even
that.
gets to any fat.
You
to
can
burn
explain
fat.
that?
I can explain
Do it,
like,
Bridge.
I can explain that like using like molecules and stuff.
Oh, please do,
That's-
please do. Your
okay,
mom
so
loves that.
The reason why you need I can't do it as she's gonna say here.
My son is saying the word molecule.
Because he's pre-mad almost.
When I say molecules, you don't even care.
No one cares about you saying it.
So the reason why is he's right. Glucose is obviously the number one thing that your body will attack, but because it's using it, it needs glucose to survive. So to be clear, you obviously cannot cut out sugar completely from your diet. That's just like your body will reject that form of living. It needs sugar to survive because that's how you get your energy. It's something called ATP. When you get ATP is energy, and for us to produce ATP, it needs glucose, which then goes through like a complete all these like Krebs cycle and like Calvin cycle and a bunch of different things. And then using those cycles, it gets broken down into different things, which then becomes H plus ions, which then goes into an ATP synthase, which then creates ATP. So it needs that one form of glucose, it needs 4 of those in order to create so much ATP so your body can actually function. So you do need glucose to survive, which is why your body always craves it. So even if you're off sugar for like 3 days, your body is going to react in some sort of way.
Yeah.
Because it's just not used to that. It's used to making a certain amount of ATP, a certain amount of energy per day. It's like imagine you've been like, lifting every single day of your life, and then for a week you stop lifting. You're gonna see like your body is gonna be like what? That doesn't
Yeah.
make sense.
Why is it bad
that?
when you overload on glucose?
Because if you do too much, then it's taking away from your other parts of your system that also need attention, right? Your body's if you don't understand how like
Balanced.
how balanced and like how fragile your body actually is. There's so many different parts of your body that needs attention, and your body's actually like not composed enough to be able to attack every single thing and give every single thing its needed attention,
Yeah.
which is why disease is like, it's so easy to get some diseases when your body's working on other things. And when you have a disease, it's really scary because that means there's so much like memory cells and cells focusing on that there's not enough cells for everything else in your life. That's why you deteriorate and
But
health.
that brings me to my public service message.
Oh, God.
That when you pick out a pack of cigarettes today, right?
Yeah.
You will see like this skeleton type image on it, and then words that this product will kill you, right? As cleanly and boldly as it can be written. And just if after reading all of that and looking at that skeleton type of scary picture, as an adult over 21, you still pick out a pack of cigarettes and drink it, well, what can anybody do about that, right? And I feel like that kind of statutory warning has to be there for many other products, and not just sugary drinks. Sugary drinks for sure. There's no reason for companies like Coke and Pepsi to be existing in this world. They should be closed down so people cannot access that product.
Okay.
But even if they're not closed down, the
we're
product
not
should
getting
have
sponsorship
that kind of statutory warning should be there, cleanly stated. I will not participate in your podcast if you get sponsorship from Coke. I mean, are they going to pay enough for that? Then maybe.
Just keep going. Just keep
that
going.
moved quickly.
Yeah, oh my God.
But that kind of statutory warning should be there on those sugary drinks. But not only those sugary drinks. There's like, for example, a McDonald's burger probably should have a statutory warning like that.
But okay,
You can't
let's
live
just
like that.
let's just shift gears for a minute in this podcast. Everybody knows sugar is evil and it's in everything. What are we doing to live around this epidemic? What are some strategies? Like you are making your own dessert.
Well,
What are the things that we are doing to combat it? Can I offer a suggestion right now? What I find is that the sweetness is a palate in my mouth. Once you take a bite of something sweet, you want more sweet. You want that next bite of cookie. You know that whole you can only eat one. It's not just chips. It's sugar too.
Yeah.
But if my mouth has a bitterness in its mouth, like a bitter palate, or like a sour, not salty, because salt is its own problem. That's a whole another episode. But if it's like a sour, spicy palate, then that helps keep the cravings away.
I have a good
And
answer to
lately,
this.
1 minute, let me just finish my thought because it's a good one, not like your dad. The thing that I've been doing is drinking a lot of sour and spicy water, which has really helped me. Water with lemon and ginger and a little bit of red pepper, like mirchi.
That's
Why?
crazy.
I'm
Crushed
confused.
into
Why
it.
does that help you so much? It makes your mouth bitter?
It kills the taste bud for sugar. What it does is that it kills the desire
So
for
what would
sugar.
you say about like, there's many products actually that I just tested with
Yeah.
my biology class about like where they make
Oh, okay.
concentrated like fruits, not fruits, they're like gummies almost, but they taste terrible, like seeds, where you eat it and then that kills, it does exactly
Yeah.
what you do.
Yeah.
So would you be like, would you think that that's a good product? Is that something that you would invest in?
I've never heard of that product, but
But if I presented it to you,
I know that my water has that effect for sure.
for sure.
For sure, if I'm drinking like a lemon, but I never liked lemon. People always talk about drinking lemon water. I never liked it by itself because it was too sour for me. But lemon, ginger, pepper, and a little bit of red mirchi, like a little bit of red crushed pepper, boiled together, it's like a very complex taste. And once you drink that, you don't want any carbs or any sugar. I don't know what it is, but you don't want it. I'm telling you.
Okay.
What were you saying?
Yeah.
But Bridge, when you become a doctor, remember this episode, okay? All right.
My idea to get around the sugar epidemic is to read labels and look deeper into things. Like, you'd be surprised. Like, you'll look at a pack of honey roasted almonds and you'll be like, this looks healthy, I'm gonna eat it. You look at the back, like 20 grams of carbs, 40 grams of sugar. It's crazy how, like, people can just use simplistic labels and, like, sophisticated words to just make stuff look healthy when it's really just poison in a packet.
And you've been
I
eating
mean,
a
try
lot of...
getting a pack of raw cashews at the airport.
I know. No.
Or
airports
raw
are the
nuts. Just
worst.
any raw nuts or cashews or peanuts, anything but just raw, nothing in it.
Like
it's impossible to find unsalted or unsugared or like not honey roasted, not like they call it all kinds of
Yeah,
different
I know,
things.
I know.
But simple raw with nothing in it.
Yeah.
You cannot get it. There's no way to find it. And if you do find it, it'll be 8 times more expensive. So it may be $6 for a pack of cashews that are roasted or honey roasted or salted or whatever. It'll be $18 for the same number of cashews that are raw.
Also, salted gives them such a profitable boost.
It gives them such a profitable
You want to
boost.
eat more and more and more.
Yeah, I mean, this
And you don't have to
it goes on in this
resupply
great
as
nation of ours.
often.
I don't
Yeah,
get
exactly.
What else? I mean, what do we think of alternative sugars? So, this is a hot topic as well right now, where people, for example, I
it. Like
eat
stevia, or what do you mean?
no, not stevia, but more so like agave, honey, monk fruit,
Yeah.
maple syrup. Sometimes people who consider natural sugar in these other forms. Do we consider that to have the same effect? Do we just abandon that strategy? One thing, for example, that I eat, I probably eat dates, like the fruit, every single day.
Yeah.
I don't know necessarily.
Yeah, I do similar things. Like fruit, for example, is filled with sugar. Like my favorite fruit in the summer is lychee.
Yeah.
Which is very sugary.
Yeah.
But it's, but it satiates me. It at least has natural sugar.
And you eat the whole fruit. You don't
eat the whole
juice
fruit.
it. You don't pulp it.
Yeah.
You don't like... because there is a process of eating the whole fruit that is different even from
Yes.
just juicing it.
For sure.
With the
juicing is
fiber,
really bad.
But you're chewing it, your brain is getting a signal that you're consuming this food, because once you liquidify the whole thing, there's so many signals that are being missed across the board.
Another thing that I really wanted to bring up besides alternative sugar is this culture of saying no in a room with people who are eating desserts. I don't know if you guys ever feel uncomfortable by this, and I think the culture is slowly changing. But for a while, if you were the only person that said, no, I don't want that slice of cake, or no, I don't want to get dessert at the dinner table, it almost was this like social kind of weird experience where people almost felt like, oh, she's prioritizing her health more than me, or she must be anorexic because she's not eating dessert. It's not a bad thing to just say, I don't want sugar. And I think it should be more normalized as well. I don't know if you ever feel that way.
No, I do. And coming back to the gifting thing, I made a decision a few years ago that I will never gift anybody sugar or alcohol. I will never take a bottle of champagne or wine to somebody's house. We get bottles all the time from all kinds of businesses. We don't even give them away. That just in principle, I'm so against the distribution of all of it that we throw those things out because we don't want to add to the consumption of that, either sugar or alcohol. But what are the other things? What are the things that we give in? Can we talk about what gifts we do take?
Notes.
For housewarming parties, like when we go to people's homes and
Candles.
stuff.
I'm a big candle giver.
Candle. I like candle. Candle is also controversial now. People are
Flowers.
saying
It's
that
too
it's
expensive.
carcinogenic and it's expensive. The candle light. But I like candles. I do. And what did you
Flowers.
Flowers. I love taking small plants. I love
Honestly, healthy stuff. I bring a lot
olive
of
oil.
Like I've been on my farmer's market grind. Everybody knows I love going to the farmer's market. There's not been a single Sunday this year I haven't gone to a farmer's market of some kind in California, New York, etc. I love the farmer's market. By the way, that's where you get all the natural fruit that is grown by the farmers, and Bridge can tell you all about that because he does so much farming. But what I always do is I tend to buy a little bit of extra of whatever I'm getting. So I'll get a little bit extra of the nuts or the dried fruit or the sauces. I always also look at sauces, jams, anything that could have, tomato sauce. One thing that startled me, there is so much sugar in tomato sauce.
Yeah, because it's not,
Ketchup too.
not
Ketchup
is all sugar.
Ketchup is all sugar, but tomato sauce, I mean, that's seems like an inherently savory thing. So you have to check, Veer's right, check your labels on everything, but tomato sauce at farmer's market typically doesn't have sugar. So yeah, I like to do that as gifts as well.
Does that mean you're going to bring me tomorrow?
Yeah, probably.
What, do you have a gift tip in place of sugar?
I mean, I used the Hermes deodorant once with someone. I hate the fact that people
you
use...
can't give somebody a stick of deodorant.
But it was the Hermes one, which is organic and not made of...
Seems like
I disagree with that. I do not think
so
Hermes
crazy.
deodorant. I'm gonna search up the label after. And
You can if you want. It's a very expensive deodorant, and the reason it's expensive...
that's so
expensive
funny.
doesn't mean natural. I've seen so many.
It is natural. It does
Old
not
Spice
have any
is-
chemicals in it. It's
Old
made...
Spice is much more expensive.
I've taken Santa Maria Novella cream products, which is, again, very Italian.
Also when it comes to
just
gifts,
feels wrong to give somebody deodorant or toothpaste as a gift.
do you know what?
But
You know
then
what the most
it's
impactful
an
gift you've given
attempt.
me was?
It's
The
an
gift-
attempt to change their lifestyle going forward.
You don't need
I'm
to be
changing their lives.
people's
But that's
I'm
rude.
changing human lives.
okay, Bridge.
The gift that you have given me that I've used the most out of any other gift was a toothbrush.
Oh, yeah.
That toothbrush
Oh, yeah.
I've used now.
Yeah, the
it's like
electric
The electric.
toothbrush.
She gave me an electric toothbrush as a gift. That toothbrush I've used more than anything else,
And it sparked me to
it's
buy
lasted
one.
me long. Like a lot of other gifts that people give are very temporary, and it'll be like, let's say I give someone a cookie. Like once they're done with the cookie, that's it. Like that was it, right? Whereas
No,
like a
the
toothbrush lasts
electric
forever.
toothbrush, even all the dentists are saying is a much better way to brush. So I have actually gifted it to people too, the electric toothbrush, and like every really good salt, really good pepper. We've done all those things, but as a matter of principle, we do not take any more sugar, any more alcohol gifts, even though it is customary to show up with a bottle of wine. One time,
Plus,
do you
sometimes my
remember we got
company-
into a huge fight one time because
My
we went
company in
to
itself can be a gift.
your company. Oh, okay. Shalabh, do you remember we were invited to somebody's house for dinner once and I took a whole case of Pellegrino?
Yes, I
And
remember
you
that.
started yelling at me and everybody started being like, why did you bring your own water? I was like, but I got what I want to drink. Remember?
Yes.
And everybody made
I mean, that
fun
was a
of
pretty
me.
mean thing to have done. But
Why is that a mean?
I don't
It's just weird to bring your own Pellegrino to somebody's house.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie.
It's sort
I
of
bought
saying to them
6
as if,
Bridge, I
That's like
bought
saying you're better than them.
yeah.
No, I bought 6 bottles to share. I
I
bought
know, but
mine
like
and I
the
bought
better thing to have done,
Yeah.
which I would have suggested you do, is to call them in advance that can you just get some bottles of Pellegrino?
Oh, what? That's a better.
I actually do agree with that.
Hold on. That's better to call a host and say, "Can you please stock up on the water that I drink because I
Or
don't
like
drink
talk and be
anything
like,
else."
I'm not gonna.
I mean, you're
drink
going to a
alcohol.
friend's house, she or he can understand. What's the big deal?
No, I.
Like bringing drink is like that.
Bringing, like,
aren't-
water
like,
to
it's
the-
like I'm better than you because I'm not drinking.
But Bridge,
like,
people bring bottles of wine all the time. I just don't
It's
drink
different because
wine.
wine is like okay, you're along with everybody, but seltzer is like I'm better than you because I am not drinking alcohol.
Well,
Yeah.
okay.
I don't
And
agree
there's
with
no
that.
difference between regular
I
water
thought
and tap
my
water.
Pellegrino was a super hit, by the way. In
Okay.
case you're wondering, people consumed all of it. In fact, I got the least amount in the end. But everybody had something to say about my Pellegrino.
Okay, bringing it back to the conversation topic, one thing that is certainly true is Indian palate for desserts
Oh.
off the charts bad. Like
bad.
off the charts.
It's crazy
bad.
because the desserts don't even taste good.
It's not just the desserts. It's the amount of sugar that's in chai. It's the breakfast. It's the breakfast.
You can't say that. Have you seen American breakfast?
It's also bad. I'm saying in
People
general.
eat cake for breakfast here.
Yeah, people do. I mean,
But come on, like let's just agree, right? We are the world champions of diabetes in the world, and it didn't happen.
World champions of diabetes.
He took it straight out of my set.
he did.
I'm not the first one doing
Oh
it.
yeah, he did take.
Can I name a
He
Middle
did.
Eastern comic who just did that as well on Instagram?
Well,
So I'm not the first person to be doing it, and I
Yes.
actually own part of it.
Yes.
And that man didn't even own any of it.
Anyway, this has been our episode on sugar. This can go on. We could sit here and talk for hours and hours. We want to hear all your tricks, all your tips. What are you doing to live a healthier life? How are you circumventing the sugar crisis in your life? Because we know that you're dealing with it. How are your children coping with it? Tell us everything. And as we end every episode with a segment of good grades with Gargs, each Garg will assign another Garg an A grade for bringing the winning moment in the episode. It can be education, it can be emotion, it can be entertainment. So let's go. Who wants
I
to
know
go
who
first?
I'm going. I'm giving my A grade begrudgingly to mom. I think that the fact that she has cut out sugar for the past 3 months and it's dramatically really improved her health and like I feel like her lifestyle and even her energy. We also didn't really get into stress and sugar. I think I tapped into that a little bit with the engineering, situation where people tend to go to sugar when they're stressed. But everybody has their crux. Sugar is my mom's and she got rid of it and she has all these strategies that have worked for her and I think that's really impressive.
I'm going to give mine to Bridge. I think his description of the chemical or the biomedical process behind the glucose and the breaking of it and the APT, was it? Or ATP? ATP production and all of that was very impressive. I didn't actually know all of that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give my A grade to Dad because I think first of all, the corn syrup, I actually didn't know that. Like I didn't know that that's what.
How do you not know? That is literally like sugar 101. You can't give him no.
Sugar 101.
I'm rejecting that A grade. Everybody knows high
But look it
fructose
up. If you don't
corn
believe me, look
No,
it
no,
up.
I
and
believe
believe
you.
me.
I'm
right.
just saying I just didn't like.
So now think about it.
Yeah.
He's such a well-educated, extremely self-aware person, and he didn't even know that. So how many people may still not know that? So my public service message was important. And if you guys feel that way, can you give me a thumbs up?
Oh my god.
Stop asking for
You
thumbs up.
cannot
You can't ask for thumbs
ask
up.
for thumbs
you
up.
can get them.
Like
Hold on, so
organically.
you're giving it
Yeah, and then
Dad?
in addition, I also think that your commitment to understanding all of this is really impressive to me.
Yeah, it's true.
Oh god.
I'm giving my A grade to Dad too, because I swear, like every day, you'll just come up with some new information that, like, I would just not expect you to know this much about this stuff. And I just think it's really impressive. Like yesterday, I just learned that you read books. Like I have never once seen you read a book, and that's just insane for me to like know.
He doesn't. Well, yeah. He.
Yes, the 3x3 body problem. That was the last book I read, which is an amazing book.
On this episode, I give my A grade to my son Veer because he has used modern technology to simplify this process. I have seen him be extremely tempted to eat something, but he does not do it until he runs it through the app. And if the app says it's bad, he puts it down. If that is not a modern implementation of a solution to this, I don't know what is. And to be 12 years old and to resist temptation at that level, I think is actually Herculean and extremely inspiring. And for that, he gets the A grade, even though he betrayed me and gave his A grade to his dad, who did not deserve it. But that happens sometimes. We will talk about betrayal on another episode. This has been our episode on sugar. We can't wait to hear what you guys are doing. We're so excited to have you. Please like, share, subscribe. Bring your families into the conversation. We are dying to hear what you think. And just so you know, we all read all the comments. Every single thing you guys, your friends, your neighbors post, we're all reading them, especially my husband, who not only reads them but calculates and keeps tabs of how many people like
command
them.
effing Shalabh Garg. So
Yes.
please.
Thank you so much and see you next time. Bye. From the Gargs.